So we are covering 13 choices that increase our ability to maximize the near life opportunity. Remember where we came from? We talked about belief. We looked at passion, initiative. We looked at focus as being something that directs your ability, preparation, taking time to prepare, positions your ability, practice. The more you practice, the better you get, so you get sharper. Okay. And number 7 is perseverance, which we looked at last week. And today, we're going to look at courage. And we're also going to look at teachability. Okay, so courage tests your ability. What does that mean? And teachability, expanding your ability. Right. So let's begin with courage. And today we are saying that in order for you to maximize the opportunity that we have, you need courage. And there are situations that require courage. And if I may ask, if you would, type for me in the chat, what are some of the situations we go through in our business that demand courage? Okay. What situations do we encounter in our business that demand courage? Let me hear from you. Where do we need courage as we grow the business? Okay. Courage is something that is critical. It is something that is important. Okay. But the question is, where do we need courage? Let me first stop there and I look at what is coming through in the chat. Okay. Courage amidst negativity. Yes, very true. Thank you, Timothy. Yes, there are times when you go through situations and people tell you something, but your ability to move on is a reflection of courage. You know, people are telling you things, but you just have to keep on moving. Okay, you just have to keep on going, even when you hear people saying some things that are not positive per se. And then Myron says, talking to new people. Oh, yes, we need courage. And especially talking to certain people. You know, talking to certain people. There are people that you may talk to, and you find that it's very easy for you to approach those people. But then there are also people that you meet, and you notice that you need a certain level of courage. You know, maybe people that are higher than you in life or at a certain level, they are beyond you at a certain level. So in that case, you need the courage to approach certain people. Okay. Joyce, you mentioned amidst fear. Yes, and one of the things we are going to look at is one of the enemies of courage is fear. In fact, we wouldn't need courage if we didn't have fear. So the reason we need courage is because there is fear. So in that case, we need courage. Okay. Teddy says, okay, let me just see. Queen says, in handling objections, especially from the people we know. Yes, handling objections from the people we know. Okay. In fact, it's interesting. Some people will say, I find it easier to talk to people that I don't know. Then others will say, I find it easier to talk to people that I know. So either way, you can see that depending on how you approach it, you still need. Okay. Teddy says, when you have to approach a stranger and start a conversation. Okay. So while some people would say, I like to talk to strangers because they don't know me, they won't judge me. Others will say, yeah, for me, I think I need to grow in that area. Okay. Talking to people about near life, that is very true. Talking to people about near life. Sometimes you want to talk to people about near life, but then you have all these things in your mind. You know, what if they ask this? They say this, you know, what if they say, is this, you know, is this GNLD or is this network marketing? So sometimes those things demand that we need courage. Okay. Approaching the chicken market. Okay. This one here. Chedu, I think you will add more light. I think I've missed something, but please go ahead and add more light. Felix says overcoming fear. Okay, overcoming fear, right? William says, also talking to positive people that motivate you. Oh, okay. So is that something that brings courage or where you need courage? All right. I have taken note. Let me pick up my screen again, just a moment. Right. So you'll notice here that courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. So courage is not the absence of fear. To be courageous does not mean that you don't have fear. No, the fear will always be there. Sometimes it might be the difference in magnitude of the fear, but the fear is there. So courage is not the absence. In fact, some people say courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Now, I don't know if you can master the fear, but at least you can grow to manage it with time. You grow to manage it with time. But rather the assessment that something else is more important than fear. I like that last part of the sentence because it says all the things that we have mentioned, notwithstanding, all those things, talking to strangers, talking to people about real life, all these things that we have identified where we need courage. Now, it doesn't mean that those things we no longer fear them, but it is the assessment that something else is more important than fear. So in that case, you'll probably say, rather than fearing to talk to this person, I am going to talk to them because you never know what they are going through. I like the way Charlie Bolton sometimes puts it. He says that you never know if you don't talk to those people, their children may never go to school. Now, when you come with that mindset, it offsets the fear that you had. So it is bigger. The ambition becomes bigger than the fear. So it is the assessment. It is the realization that, yes, I may fear to talk to this person. Who knows? He might need this opportunity. He might need this opportunity. And many times the people that we fear, it is us who make that judgment. I remember Mike one time shared with us an experience about, I think it was a certain person, I think their neighbor or someone that he knew that looked really, really wealthy. So because of that, he was kind of wondering if I talk to this person about near life, will it make sense to them? So because of that, he never quite did it. Now, later on, I think he decided to go and talk to them, and then he found that they had moved, okay? But later on, he got to learn that even when they moved, they left some bills unpaid. Now, which means that while they looked so wealthy, they were not as wealthy as he had thought, So sometimes fear is just a monster in our minds. It is us who make it up. It is us who think about something that is actually not what it is. So that's why we need courage. Assessment that something else is more important than fear, that your dream is more important than fear, that what you want for this person is much more important than fear. So to develop courage, first of all, we need to challenge ourselves to take action. The best antidote for fear is to do it. Now, you can do it afraid, but do it. And my experience has been that the more you do the things that you fear, the less you fear them. Okay? In fact, as a matter, let's just take this as a principle that there are some things, I think we talked about it last week, that you cannot learn courage on this call. You can only learn what to do about it. But to actually be courageous, like to develop courage, because we are saying it tests your ability. It is a tester. It tests your ability. So for you to develop courage, you have to challenge yourself. So whenever you feel a certain level of fear, my challenge to you is this. Find a way to do it. Either do a countdown in your heart and say 1, 2, 3, jump. You're going to talk to the person. Say something, but use opportunities of fear to develop the muscle of courage. So courage is like a muscle, and all muscles are developed by exercising them. Last week we shared someone, one of the distributors here, who shared an experience about how she made her biggest sale when she happened to go alone. Now over time, she had always wanted her uplines to support her, come and do this for me. And yes, while we believe so much that, your upline can do a good job, it is time for you to begin to develop this muscle. So one time her uplines were not available and she just had to do it. And it so happened that the day she went, she made the biggest sale she had ever done. She did it again and it happened. Now, you can imagine the level of courage that she has now. It is because of her ability to take action that she developed that courage. Remember, whenever we'd been training and it was time to give testimonies, many times they wouldn't tell her. So you'll just be in the room and you hear someone, the presenter, saying, now, I'm not alone in this business. I'm going to invite some people that have also done it. Then you're there thinking, okay, let's wait and, let's listen to the testimonies. And then you hear your name be called. Now, at that moment, you feel like probably running out of the room. You can't. You just have to go in front. Now, the more times you deliver, you perform in such situations, the more you develop the courage and actually do it. So challenge yourself to take action. They said, do it afraid, but do it. Don't let fear keep you from taking action. Whenever you meet someone and you're fearing to talk to them about near life, that is the opportunity to build the muscle. So you go, say hello to them, find out how they are doing, find out what they are doing, and then share something about yourself. Sometimes just do it for the sake of beating the courage. In other words, of beating the fear. Don't let fear keep you from taking action. Challenge yourself. You go to a party, you go to a wedding, you go to an event, and you see this high profile person and you're fearing to approach them. Challenge yourself. Just challenge yourself. That's where it begins from. Put a challenge on yourself. Okay? Don't allow fear to hold you back. Challenge yourself. Secondly, develop strong convictions about what you're doing. Constantly think about what it is that we are doing. How strong do you feel about it? I think we talked about this when we were talking about passion. How strongly do you feel about the mission of making the world a healthier and happier place? How do you feel about that? I mean, does it raise any level of conviction in you when you're talking to people? Does it show that you're concerned about what we are doing? How do you feel when you see people, when you're in a supermarket and you see people buying all these soaps, you see all these detergents? How do you feel? Does that make you feel a certain level? Now, I'm not saying you go to the line and say, excuse me, take this back to the store because I have something better for you. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying you have a certain level of conviction when you're talking about near life, when you're talking about health, opportunity, when you're talking about the financial opportunity, when you are meeting people, when you're presenting, do you have any convictions in your heart? Now, in case you don't have, find a cause to believe in about what you're doing because it will help you to develop courage. You believe in it so strongly that you can't help but talk to someone. That's what we are talking about. So develop courage. Develop courage, okay, by developing strong conviction. And then 3, appreciate the virtue of discipline. Okay. So discipline is where you get yourself to do something, and that's where you force yourself, you push yourself. Now that is courage. You develop it by developing the virtue of discipline. Discipline says every day I must add a name to my name list. So develop the virtue of discipline. Like, do it. Don't allow yourself to skip. Don't allow yourself, to miss that one-on-one because of fear. Develop the virtue. Discipline. Discipline is what will help you to master. Then clarify your dream. Your dream will give you the courage. It is it is, make it so compelling. Like, what are you going for this coming year? We are talking about, building the business to the world team. Clarify your dream. Sometimes your dream will make you do things that you are afraid of, just because your dream is compelling enough. How clear is your dream? If you don't have a strong reason, you won't do some things. But when you are crystal clear about certain things, you will do them. Clarify your dream. Clarify your dream. If your dream is not clear, other things will stand in the way. You will give yourself a reason and say, today, no, today, no. Today, I will not. Because the dream is not clear. But when your dream is clear, you will do it. Okay, so develop courage. Now, fear has killed more dreams than failure ever will. Think about it. Fear has killed more dreams than failure. In fact, most people fail not because of failure, but because of fear. So sometimes it is the fear of failure. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to fail. In fact, there are times when you even surprise yourself. For you, you thought you didn't do as well as you think you should have, and the other person appreciated it. So many times it is the fear, not the fear, just the fear, not even failure. It is the fear. In any case, if you fail, it is feedback. Like, okay, I have learned something new that I didn't know before. Fear has killed more dreams than failure ever will. It's not that people fail not because they fail. It is because they fear to fail. So from today onwards, challenge yourself that I will not let fear keep me from trying. I will not let fear. In fact, you can even develop your self-talk. You can say, one of the ones I used to use was, it's okay for them to say no, but let them say no for themselves. Okay? Don't say no for them. It's okay for them to say no, but let me hear it myself from them. So in which case, until I've heard it, you will not stop doing it. So you have to find a way to keep yourself moving, because the people that you fear, one day you'll enter that training and you'll find them holding a kit. One day the people you're fearing to invite for the event, for the upcoming event on Sunday, you might reach there and they say, I'm happy to see you. So think about all those things. Think about the consequences of your inaction. Sometimes it is motivating enough for you to get up and do something. So that is fear. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. So don't allow fear hold you back. That is a declaration that, and by the way, overcoming fear is an ongoing thing. It never stops. You just have to keep on doing it. So develop your way of overcoming fear. But at the end of the day, courage is what will test your ability to maximize the opportunity of new. All right. So let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is talking about teachability, being teachable, being teachable. It expands your ability. Now, I find this very, very significant, because when you think about containers, we used to learn about capacity in school. We used to learn about capacity. So capacity simply means how much a container can carry. So for example, the capacity of a 5-liter jerry can is that it can carry 5 liters of water. Okay, now a 5-liter jerry can cannot carry 10 liters of water because it has been set to carry 5. Okay, now when we talk about capacity development in people, we are talking about expanding their ability to do more. So capacity is like expanding your ability. If you're to expand the capacity of a jerry can, it would be that you increase it from handling 5 to handling 10. For that to happen, while other things cannot stretch, while other things cannot grow, other things, jerry cans cannot grow. In fact, somebody once climbed Mount Everest, Sir Edmund Hillary, and then he failed. He went with a group and he failed to climb the mountain. So they came back in the evening. And as he was talking to the people who had tried to conquer the mountain, there was a huge mountain. There was a huge picture of Mount Everest on the wall where he was speaking. So as he talked to these people, he was telling them, next year we shall come back. Then he turned and faced the mountain. So he faced the picture and he told them, now he started speaking to the picture on the wall. He said, Mount Everest, here you have defeated us, but we are coming back next year. And Mount Everest, you cannot grow more than you already are, but for us, we can grow. And next year, we shall conquer you. In 1953, they went back and they conquered the mountain. Now, the reason they conquered the mountain is because they expanded their ability. Mount Everest did not grow. It will never grow higher than it is now. But they could grow because of teachability, expanding your ability to maximize the opportunity. That is what we are talking about. So teachability is the willingness to learn new things. Willing to learn new things. Okay. Being open-minded. Just being open-minded. There are people who are not open-minded. There are people who will tell you, I don't know how to do that thing, and I don't even want to know. Now, that's not being open-minded. Open-minded means that you're willing to learn. That is an attitude of learning. It is being willing to unlearn some things. Yeah, so there are some things that you have always known, but now being teachable also means that now let go of those things because yes, they once worked, they are no longer working. So accept that now what you used to do is no longer applicable in this era. So being willing to unlearn, being willing to unlearn some things. Okay, being willing to relearn something. So there are some things that you have learned before, but you need to learn them again. And sometimes people ask, now, this training, this morning call every day, haven't you mastered the things? Yes, the more we learn, the more we relearn. There are some things that we know, but we need to keep on learning. Okay? And then teachability also means that you're open to learning from anybody. So a new distributor comes in today and starts speaking, and in your mind, you're thinking, now, you have just joined. What are you going to teach us? Huh? I've been doing this for some time. I'm already at this level. You've just come in. So being teachable means be humble enough, learn from anybody, because anybody can teach you something. In fact, the Baganda say, negozade akukubira engoma n'okola ki nozina, meaning even the one you have given birth to can drum and you dance. So it doesn't mean that because you are the older one, you will always be the one teaching. Nope. There are new things, people coming with new ideas. You can learn from anybody. You can learn even from a child. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn. And the ultimate test of teachability is you need to sacrifice, time and money. Sometimes people, you invite someone and they say, no, I can't come for this training. Sometimes it is because they are probably thinking, I have attended this several times, but we need to have the mindset of sacrificing time. Sometimes you can tell that it is important when you sacrifice that time and you are willing to pay that money. That is teachability. So sacrificing time, money. So to be teachable, number one, learn to listen. Learn to listen. When you're in training, listen. Listen. Like, don't just hear what they are saying, but listen. Think about what it is that you're hearing. Be teachable. Sometimes we are there, but we are not. We are not there. You're in the training, but you're not in the training. You are there, but you're not there. So be present. Learn to listen. Secondly, understand the learning process. And when I say the learning process, it simply means that learning sometimes takes time. Sometimes you have to be patient with yourself. Just be patient with yourself. In fact, the best example is, think about it. Think about when children are learning how to walk. They get up, they take one step, they fall. They get up again, they take two steps, they fall. They try again, they keep falling. They take three steps, they fall. After some time, all children walk. Have you met any children now who cannot? Have you met any adults who cannot walk unless they are disabled? But with time, everybody learns. Now, when you meet someone walking, you can't tell whether this one walked very fast or this one learned to walk slowly. It doesn't matter. The point is that we can now all walk, regardless of how long it took us to walk. So be patient with yourself. Understand that learning takes time. Just understand that learning takes time. So just because you can't do it now doesn't mean that you will never do it. Just be patient with yourself. Keep trying, keep doing it. And the more you do it, in fact, at the scientific level, what is happening is that you are building new pathways in the brain. So the more you do it, the more familiar it gets. So that's why we need to be patient until the time comes when you can just get up at night and you can still do something, even when you haven't prepared as much. So understand the learning process, that it takes time. It takes time, but it doesn't begin like that. I remember when I used to present, when I was learning how to present, I would see how Janet presents, I would take those notes. Then I would see how Mr. Kanaklia presents, I take his notes. Then I say how Mrs. Kanaklia presents, I take the notes. Then I say what Andrew does, I take those notes. Then when they say just come and present, I put all of them together. And then I add mine. Now that becomes just it. So at the end of the day, just understand that it takes time. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. They say Rome was not built in one day. It took time to build Rome. So take time to learn what you need to learn. Okay? Be patient with yourself. Don't run out of patience. And have the attitude of a continuous learner. Have the attitude of a continuous learner. A continuous learner says, it's okay. I have learned all these things, but I will still log in because there is something new to learn. And by the way, even if you are doing the same thing, I mean, like, I read the Bible. I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. The Bible has never changed. For the last 37 years that I have, okay, I've not read it ever since I was born, but at least for as long as I have known, it has never changed. But every church, every Sunday we go to church and they read the same Bible. Sometimes they read the same story, the story of the lost son. You know, it's the same. It has never changed. But the way this person explains it is different from the way that person explains it is different from the way the other person explains it. And there is always something you need to take away from the same story. So have the attitude of a continuous learner. And by the way, sometimes we learn something new, not just because it is new, but because of the circumstance you're going through. So there is a certain thing you're going through right now that now makes that story or that lesson so relevant. So have the attitude of a continuous learner. Then remember, as you learn, reflect and apply what you learn. Reflect and apply what you learn. So whenever you come for training, they talk about the program for diabetes. They talk about the program for high blood pressure. Now, don't come again tomorrow and say, what is the program for high blood pressure? Yet they told it today. So in other words, learn, then reflect, and then apply. That's the way you're going to deepen your learning. Then be willing to invest time, money. You know, be willing to invest. Some trainings will cost you to travel. People do. Like in the US, you find people flying, paying an air ticket to go across to go and attend a certain seminar. No, so be willing. That's why sometimes they put a fee on the conference, what? Like there is a fee to pay because they are saying, are you willing to listen? In fact, when you pay that money, you will pay attention. You know, sometimes people don't pay attention because they have nothing to lose. But when you pay your money, you will pay attention. You will pay attention. Because it's your money, you know where it's coming from. You've paid it. You're going to sit down and earn value for your money. Be willing to invest that time. And lastly, make learning a lifestyle. Make learning a lifestyle. But the last thing I want to mention about learning is this, that many times we don't go to our dream. No, we grow to our dream. Okay? So for example, right now, if you are a senior manager and you want to become a director or you want to become a world team member next year, okay? Now, you cannot become a world team member by remaining who you are right now. What I'm saying is that there is something you need to learn in order for you to go to another level. So identify what you need to learn. Maybe you need to learn how to build a team. So identify what it is that you need to learn so that you can grow to the next level. So that has been our session today on being courageous and being teachable.